is getting late. I really should go, he's waiting for me. We both know it's not what it seems. Side, 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 side. Oh, 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 light side, the light side. Oh, 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 light side, the light side. Oh, 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 light side, the light side. Oh, 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 light side, the light side.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, I am in another Evo, but this time, instead of being an Evo 8, it's an Evo 10. The Evo 10 and the Evo 8 are similar but different. There's a lot of trade-offs, so to speak. The traction system in the 10 is a little bit more sophisticated, but with the 4G63 and the Evo 8 and the 9 and before, it's a little bit easier to make power out of. But the 10, for sure, overall, is a lot nicer inside. It's a lot smoother on the road. It's not very race car, so to speak. The Evo 8 and the 9, it just feels like a straight up race car 100% of the time. This feels like you can cruise and have a lot of fun in at the same time. This car belongs to my good friend Sean. I met him about a year and a half ago now. We've been good friends. Him and James know each other very well, so we figured we'd do both of their Evos this weekend while I'm in Virginia Beach. The appearance of this Evo 10 is actually ridiculously gorgeous. When comparing each Evo, we always call James's as the demon and this one as the angel, because it's just so pretty. You know, the badges are off the back, so it's not as cluttered. The gorgeous white color is just awesome. The RPF1 set it off. A ton of people do the white and black combination with Evos, like, you know, black wheels, white. But with this, I think it just works. The RPF1s, they're like this kind of gunmetal gray, silverish color, but if you look at it just right, it almost looks like it's a completely like white out car. This car, like an Evo should be, is modified, and heavily modified. It's a fully built 4B11. It's sleeved, it has, you know, aftermarket pistons, rods, whole 9 yards, and an ETS turbo kit, which comes with a Garrett GT35R. The built motor in the kit, it's fully capable of 1,000 horsepower someday. Right now, we're in kind of quote-unquote the break-in period for the motor and everything. So right now, it's tuned at a conservative 530-ish wheel horsepower. Next week, it's gonna be tuned for over 600. It's at like 20-21 pounds of boost right now, but when it gets tuned next week, it'll be pushing around 30. So it's gonna be a much bigger difference. It also has a 4-inch ETS intercooler and also Kelford's cams, and they are just nasty. When you sit at a stoplight, you just hear it loping the whole time, and you're like, that's definitely not stock. And the only bad part is this clutch it's the same clutch as James's Evo, you know, the crazy Evo I drove yesterday. So it is a little bit tricky, and with the combination of the cams, if you go at just the wrong time while it's loping, you'll stall. Well, I'll stall, because that's just me. So let's give it some gas. And it's fast. Unlike the car I drove yesterday, this is much more, I guess you could say, user-friendly. It's definitely fast, especially when you get to the high RPMs with the boost threshold and all that stuff. But overall, you're definitely not as like scared, so to speak. You're not like, okay, I need to hold on. It doesn't spin all 4 tires like the other one does. The traction is much better overall, and it's just more controllable, so to speak. So getting in this car, I was able to jump in it and just go almost all out, almost instantly, and be totally fine. The RPM, the red line, is around 8 right now, but when the build is finished, it'll be around 9,500. The car also has an open dump, so when you get on it, it opens up. Watch. So, open. It's a gritty exhaust normally, but then when the dumps open up, when the turbo kicks in, see, watch. It's gravy. And wow, the brakes work really good. The Brembos on this are bigger than the 8 and the 9, so it gets a little bit more confidence inspiring than the 8 and the 9s in my opinion. It has Giro disc 2-piece rotors as well, so naturally that helps the car just stop. Like, it's ridiculous how quick this thing stops. What also helps with the spooling of the turbo is a lightweight drive shaft. So it really gets the RPMs going and helps it out a lot more with the lightweight and everything. This actually is a GSR, if you haven't noticed already. It's a 5-speed, stick shift, unlike the MR, which is now paddle shifts. But what's special about this GSR is that it has the SSS package. What the SSS package is, has all the luxuries, so to speak. You get the nice stereo, you get the Recaro seats that are heated. Dude, these seats are awesome. Like, they hold you in nice and tight. It's got a sunroof, whole 9 yards. Speaking about window stuff, this also has the option to put on the little window holes that air, vents out air if you're too hot at a track day or something. So that's always nice. Plus, they look really cool. This has coilovers, sway bars, all the good stuff for handling, and it really, really shows on this car. These cars from the factory even are awesome, like when it comes to handling. So when you upgrade the performance even more, I mean, here's a bend right here, and we'll just kind of ease our way around it. And out of the... It's awesome. Now, don't get me wrong, driving James' Evo yesterday was awesome, but here's the thing, it's really exhausting. I could review this all day without getting exhausted. His was so fun to drive and so intense, but it was just, you had to be so focused the entire time. With this, it's just nice and smooth, and you can roll into it real quick, downshift, roll into it, go, and it's fine. Sean and I kind of agree that the Evo 10s from the factory, we don't like to change them too much, like when it comes to the body itself. I personally think they look awesome stock for the most part. Maybe little things here and there, but not like body kits and that sort of thing. I think the 8s and the 9s can pull that stuff off a little bit easier. But with the 10, he has this nice carbon fiber front lip on it that really sets off and makes the white pop, so to speak. Usually yellow fog lights aren't really my thing either, but with this white and the carbon fiber lip on the front and the black intercooler, everything just pops. Everything contrasts to each other. So instead of clashing with each other, like being too much or too tacky, it's like a perfect combination. Out of all the Evo 10s I've ever seen, this has always been my favorite one. Nothing like makes me look at it and just be like, wow, that thing is gorgeous. And you know that saying where you got the wrong car if you don't look back at it when you walk away from it? I look back at it for him. I still look at it when I walk away. It's not even my car. I just think it's that pretty. We'll do a nice little second gear for the end. And boost. That never, ever, ever, ever gets old. So, I want to thank Sean so much for letting me drive his car. He lets no one drive his car for good reason, because it's his baby. And I feel very, very privileged driving this. So I'm very fortunate to be able to drive this car. It was a ton of fun. I was much more relaxed driving this than James is yesterday. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 videos I made this past weekend. I know I did, and these are the 2 fastest cars I've ever driven.